I recently read Prince Harry's book Spare and found 6 lessons that we can apply into our everyday lives, starting with lesson 1. People are delusional. Despite being at his mother's funeral, Harry refused to believe that his mother had died. He chose instead to believe that his mother had run away from the reporters and was hiding somewhere, like in the Swiss Alps, so that she could finally receive some peace. And he spent years waiting for his mother to come and get him so that they could live together. It wasn't until he was 23, when he was visiting Paris and drove through the tunnel where her car had crashed, that he finally accepted that she had died. Once he accepted her death, this now meant that it took longer for him to heal from her passing, and contributed to a lot of his struggles as a child. The same is true with us. There will be times in our lives when things happen and we are unable to accept it. We convince ourselves that reality isn't there. Maybe for you, like Harry, it'll be the passing of a loved one. But no matter what it is, we have to accept reality so that we can work through the hard emotions and heal. Lesson 2. People are going to find reasons to hate you. All his life, Prince Harry loved soldiers. He played with soldier action figures as a kid, and he decided that he wanted to go to the army as a career. Unfortunately, Harry's first postponement into the army was due to a knee injury that he received before entering the military academy. Rather than encourage him, the newspapers decided to call Harry a coward and that the injury was a fake that he claimed to have in order to avoid entering the army. Harry's deployment was postponed a second time in 2007 when the terrorists in Iraq made a public announcement of him becoming their primary target. The newspapers once again called him a coward. The problem with that, though, is the terrorists made him a #1 target. That gave him and his entire squad a higher likely chance of being shot. However, despite all the setbacks, Harry ended up serving 2 tours in Afghanistan and ended up taking the lives of members of the Taliban. When the newspapers heard this, they called him bloodthirsty and ridiculed him for taking the lives of the enemy. Although this is just 2 examples, the press searched for reasons to hate Harry, to make fun of him, to ridicule him, and if they couldn't find anything, they made up stuff. The same is true in life. There will be people who hate you for no reason, and they will make excuses to tear you down and to hate you. But this is where lesson 3 comes in. Lesson 3 is ignore the hover monkeys. In between his deployments, Prince Harry trained to become a helicopter pilot. Interestingly, the hardest part about flying a helicopter is actually hovering it. This is because outside forces like gravity and downdraft make the hovering helicopter sway side to side as if there was invisible monkeys swinging from it. The only way to get rid of these hover monkeys was to ignore them. In life, just like how there will be people who hate you for no reason, there are going to be forces outside of your control, and there's nothing that you can really do about it. The best way to handle these outside circumstances is to ignore them. As we ignore these outside forces, like what people think, the weather, or anything else outside of our control, we're able to focus on what we're doing and find peace. Lesson 4. Clear the hard drive. For his 29th birthday, Prince Harry decided he was going to trek to the South Pole. Before he left, a polar guide advised him to take this time to clear the hard drive. Don't worry about your stresses or your worries or things going on at home. Just focus on each step, clear his mind, and use the trek as a meditation to help clean the hard drive. How often in life do we take the time to clear our hard drive? Now, most of us will probably never go to the North or South Pole, but we should still find ways to clear our own minds. Whether that's through meditating a few times a day, completely unplugging from the internet for a few days, or going camping, we should take our time to clear our minds of worries and stresses, and instead allow ourselves to feel peace in the moment. Lesson 5 is talk. Talking about his mom was a taboo for years for Prince Harry, and because of that, he was never able to process what had happened. He struggled in school and got into alcohol, drugs, and smoking. He went through his life on autopilot, and Harry spent his teenage years trying not to remember his mom while trying not to forget her. Finally, when he was 29, he talked about his mom to his then girlfriend Cressida, and although it didn't heal him, he was able to cry for his mom, which is something he'd never been able to do. Being able to talk about his mom unlocked a door that had previously been shut, and he decided to go to therapy, where he talked about the guilt and pain that he felt. As he went, old memories that he thought were lost were resurrected, and he was able to truly remember his mom. In life, as humans, we need to talk. There are things in life that are so hard that we're just unable to process it without talking with others. You see, everyone needs someone to talk to, whether it's a therapist, a family member, or a friend. We need to talk about the good and the bad times in order to process through those experiences. Talking allows us to find answers to questions we have and to heal. Put in the comments someone you trust to talk to. Lesson 6. Everyone has their own battles. Prince Harry was literally a prince, and until his separation, he never had to worry about things like having a roof over his head, or what he was going to eat, but he still had his demons, the ones that went with him at his mother's death, and the rumors and lies that were spread about him and his wife, and the lack of support that he had from his family. This reminds us that everyone in life has their own battles that they're facing, so why add to it? Instead of judging or criticizing others, we should recognize that people are facing their battles and offer them support. If you like these videos, put in the comments section the name of a book that you'd like me to read, and press subscribe to help me get more subscribers than Jake from State Farm.